The bed is still unmade. There's a shirt on the floor that isn't mine. Near the window, a phone lights up for a moment. A message drafted, then deleted. I learned how to say goodbye without shouting it to the world. I learned how to fold a grief into a drawer and close it gently so nobody outside that room had to know.
Welcome back to S&J Pride. I'm Samnang. This show is for gay men who felt the sharp edges of secrecy, shame, or the complicated logistics of loving when visibility costs too much.
And I'm James. If you've ever had to choose between safety and being seen, you're in the right place. Today's episode is delicate. There may be grief, questions about safety, and some tools you can use if you're preparing to end something privately.
Quick safety note before we begin. This episode talks about private breakups and planning, and that means sometimes we'll discuss situations that involve risk. If you feel you're in danger or that abuse is happening, please pause this episode and reach out to a local domestic safety line, an LGBTQ+ affirmance shelter, or a trusted professional. We are not clinicians or lawyers. This is lived experience and practical guidance. Episode notes will include resources. Here's what we'll do. I'll tell the story of the quiet way I closed a relationship when saying it out loud would have cost someone their job and their family's safety. Then I'll offer scripts you can use, a low-risk exit checklist, a micro-separation protocol you can try, and a private grief ritual if you need to mourn without an audience. Let me start with the first memory. The long, small decisions. Not one big blow-up, someone changing the locks, or a dramatic scene, but 1,000 tiny shifts that slowly made the room feel like it no longer fit either of us. It was the way we stopped saying good morning when texts came late at night, the way we blurred plans into vague promises because living a double knife meant schedules were fragile. I remember the coffee cup I kept leaving in his sink, little passive things that felt like potholes. I knew then, with that particular ache, that we were both holding something too heavy to carry together anymore. I kept asking myself, am I ending this to protect him? To protect myself? To spare a family the knowledge they'd weaponize? Sometimes the reasons were protective. Sometimes they were fear. And the hard part was that protection and fear look the same when you're making plans behind a closed door.
Scene 2. The night I rehearsed a private goodbye. I sat on the edge of the bed with my phone, thumb hovering like a small, nervous animal. I practiced sentences out loud. Neutral, short, not explosive. I practiced leaving the apartment with a backpack because I wanted an option that felt reversible. I rehearsed breathing when he said nothing, and what I would do if he begged me to stay. I imagined every reaction and calibrated a response that kept both of our dignity intact.
I was terrified that telling the truth would cost him his job and his family ties, so I learned a new rule. Do no harm when harm is unpredictable. That meant no public scenes, no social media announcements, no mutual friends dragged into the middle. It meant planning for the worst and hoping for the kindest outcome. Scene 3 was quieter than I expected. I made a small ritual the morning after. Coffee, a single song, a letter I folded but never sent. I cried into my shirt in the laundry room where the noise muffled me. I let the houseplants witness it. I said goodbye out loud to the parts of us that were real, and then closed the door softly, because sometimes leaving is an act of mercy. What I learned the hard way is you can grieve privately and still be honest. You can protect someone's safety and still honor what was real between you. That's the truth of it.
From where I sat, the most important thing was consent and clarity. I can tell you how that looked for me. Quiet updates, clear boundaries, and a consistent pattern of small kindnesses, so nothing felt like punishment. If someone is staying because they fear being outed, that's coercion. But if both people agree to a private transition for safety reasons, then thoughtful steps matter.
What I want listeners to hear is this. You can hold someone's safety without erasing your own need for truth. We've been there. We learned that the hard way, testing boundaries, sometimes getting it wrong, and then trying again with more care.
Okay, practical part. 3 privacy-first scripts you can adapt. These are short, neutral, and dignity first. Say them slowly. Test the tone in your head before you say them out loud. First script, a safety-prefaced boundary.
I care about you, and I don't want to put your safety at risk. For that reason, I think we should stop our romantic relationship and keep this private for now. I'm willing to talk about logistics when you're ready.
Second script, neutral logistics with no blame. This isn't working for me anymore. I want to end things respectfully and privately. Let's figure out a plan to separate our lives without making this public. Short, no accusations, no dramatic explanations.
Third script, boundary closure when safety is at stake. I need to end this relationship for my well-being. Because of how connected you are to people who might be harmed if they knew, I'm asking that we keep this between us while we both make plans. This one puts safety first and asks for cooperation.
Tone notes. Keep your voice low, steady, and neutral. Avoid long confessions in the initial moment. Save those for private conversations with a therapist or trusted friend. If the other person asks for reasons, offer one short, honest line and say you can talk more later in a safer context. Now, the exit checklist, the practical things that reduce risk and protect privacy. These are low-risk, reversible steps you can take before you actually leave. Step 1. Secure important documents. Make a digital backup of your ID, passport, lease, and any messages that prove arrangements. Store them in an encrypted folder or a trusted cloud with 2-factor authentication. Step 2. Line up a neutral backup plan for housing, an Airbnb, a friend you trust who understands privacy, or a low-profile shelter if required. Have a bag packed with essentials and a charger. Step 3. Create neutral cover stories for basic questions. I'm focusing on work, or I'm going to stay with a friend for a bit, that keep details vague without lying about safety. Step 4. Plan a trusted ally check-in, one person who knows a pared-down truth and who can be called if things escalate. Step 5. Pause public posts. Stop sharing joint photos or location check-ins until you're stable. Little guardrails that saved me. Test your neutral language with a therapist or a trusted friend first. Practice the phrasing. If you have legal stakes, visas, shared leases, consult an immigration attorney or tenant advocate before you make irreversible moves. We'll link to resources in the notes. Next, the micro-separation protocol. This is a staged experiment, so you can tell the difference between panic and clarity. It's reversible, measurable, and minimized for risk. Phase 1. Short, agreed-upon time apart for 7 days. No surprise disappearances. Set the length. Phase 2. Buddy checks every other day with your trusted ally. Phase 3. No social media updates about the separation. Both parties mute public announcements. Phase 4. After the 7 days, evaluate. Did you feel relief, more clarity, or increased panic? If clarity, move to formal separation planning. If panic, seek support and consider couples or individual therapy. The important part is consent and safety at every step.
From our experience, the micro-separation worked because we'd agreed on the rules ahead of time. We decided what no contact meant, who could call in an emergency, and what privacy would look like to both of us. You need that shared map, otherwise it feels like abandonment.
Now, the grief ritual I used when I had to mourn alone. This might feel small, but rituals give the heart a place to land when there's no funeral, no friend group, no public moment.
Find 10 minutes. Make a cup of something warm. Write a letter to the person saying what you needed to say. Thank them for what was good. Name what hurt. Then fold it and keep it in a box or burn it outdoors, whatever feels safe. Put one item on a small altar or shelf, a ticket stub, a folded note, a plant leaf. Play a single song that remembers the good parts and let yourself be quiet with it. This is not public. This is yours. Try a 7-day experiment after the micro-separation. No contact except for safety check-ins. One private letter you won't send, and one everyday routine you reclaim for yourself. Walks, a morning ritual, coffee at the same time. Notice what shifts. Do you sleep differently? Are your thoughts kinder or sharper? Keep a private note for yourself. I know this work can make you feel very alone, so let me speak directly. If you're listening and you feel shame or guilt for protecting someone, you're not alone. You are not broken. Choosing a private ending doesn't mean you lied. Sometimes protection is honesty of a different kind. Trust me on that one.
I hear you. If you're sitting with this and worry you'll lose your community or your job, what you're feeling is real. That took real courage to even consider a safe exit. You deserve to be safe. You deserve to grieve. If you can, reach out to one person who can be a steady check-in. It makes a difference.
A few safety reminders before we close. If you suspect abuse, coercion, or you feel physically unsafe, do not try to manage this alone. Contact domestic safety services, call an LGBTQ+ affirming hotline, and look into legal support. If immigration or shared leases are involved, a lawyer can help you avoid moves that might expose you unintentionally. We'll link local resources in the episode notes.
We're not a replacement for therapy or legal advice. We are two guys who survived hard stuff and learned some things. Use these scripts as starting points, not prescriptions. Test them first with a trusted friend or a professional if you can.
If you try one small privacy-first step this week, try the neutral logistics line. This isn't working for me anymore. I want to end things respectfully and privately. Let's plan logistics. It's short. It holds dignity. It gives both of you the space to act without making a spectacle.
If you're comfortable, DM us. I hear you. And tell us one small step you'll try this week. If you'd rather stay anonymous, send an anonymous voicemail. We read messages with care, and we keep privacy first.
Thank you for sitting with us in this quiet, complicated place. You mattered in that relationship. The fact that you are trying to do this without harm says a lot about your heart. Take a breath. You're not alone.
We see you. We're proud of you for choosing safety and for giving yourself permission to grieve. We'll be here next time. Stay gentle with yourself.
This is SNJ Pride. I'm Samnang, and he's James. We'll see you next episode.